Hello, everybody. I'm Cody,
And I am Marquise.
and we did our project on recycling video game consoles.
And first thing to start off, we're going to be starting off with is in the economic portion.
Yes. So, what is the problem and what are we trying to solve? Uh, Recycling video games as a whole is a little bit of an issue because uh, when a system either breaks or malfunctions, a lot of people don't really know what to do with them. So, a lot of the times they end up tossing them in the garbage. And these materials oftentimes are not recyclable, so they end up just rotting in a landfill and just taking up space. Um, Another problem is through the recycling programs that we'll be talking about for video game consoles is the companies don't repair or recycle older systems. It's only ones that are currently active, such as like a PS4 and Xbox One. And the recycling process is a pain to go through. And next we'll be talking about economics. So the solution there are solutions in place for both Nintendo and Microsoft. Nintendo being the strongest of the two, and sadly Sony has not joined in on having a recycling system for consoles. And another downside is that they, even though Nintendo and Microsoft both have recycling uh, options available, they aren't very good. Next, we'll be talking about Nintendo. So Nintendo's recycling system, it has a lot of pros and lesser cons. You can recycle any Nintendo system through their take back program, uh, and they will even recycle competitor systems such as Xbox One or Sony's PS4, which is really cool of them. It's free, and they do give you a shipping label to send out through UPS. It's environmentally friendly, and repairs, they come at a decent price for Nintendo consoles. The cons for this, however, are in order to partake in the take back program, say you have only like an Xbox or PlayStation, if you want to recycle a broken one, they will not accept it unless you have an actual Nintendo console. Uh, Another problem is that these programs just aren't very well advertised. Before um, researching this project, I had no idea that any of these systems even existed, and I'm pretty sure that most people don't either. That and on their websites, they don't give you repair estimate times, so you don't know how long it's really going to take for your system to get repaired. And next, we'll be talking about Microsoft. So Microsoft, they had a lot less information than Nintendo did, so we're not really sure as far as a lot of things go. So one of the important pros here is that students can trade in their devices to get an additional 10% off of anything on the Microsoft Store. And if you already have a student discount from them, it makes it a lot. It gives you an extra 10%. They, like Nintendo, will also pay for your package to be shipped out. A con is, like we previously said, is that it's not very well known. So maybe advertising it a little bit better would benefit the recycling program. They don't give you much recycling information as far as any of their other systems besides how to recycle PCs. So it's a lot of people aren't really sure how to do it. And there's no information on how to recycle consoles for them. And next we'll be talking about Best Buy.
So, Best Buy's program has more cons than it has pros here. And so, a good pro is that they do recycle ink cartridges and batteries. Um, like other programs, when doing the research, there weren't really too many places that took in ink cartridges and batteries. So for Best Buy to go through and do that, it was a pretty cool thing. Um, However, they charge you $25 for every TV or computer you decide to recycle with them. and you really don't get anything in return for recycling whatsoever. Um, and it's just generally for the public, it's to have to pay to recycle things is just generally unfair. It doesn't seem right whatsoever. So like this program in itself just really wasn't that good. And then another thing to add into is, there are states that do not allow companies or anybody to charge people to recycle. So there aren't any recycling programs for Best Buy in like Illinois or Pennsylvania because they charge you. Again, this is yet another recycling program that just really does not work too well. And then we move into the environment. So recycling consoles. Normally it tells you that recycling them is pretty hard, and there are quite a few reasons for it. So circuit boards, they normally some of the materials within them are zinc, nickel, lead, and like other mined materials, and just these things are just non-renewable because they stay in the environment for a long time. So recycling, that's one problem going into the environment right there. If you go through to recycle the console because of the circuit board, another thing that comes in with it too is basically the plastics from the discs. They just, oh god, how was it explained? Yeah. So it's really hard to separate the casings and all that other stuff. To separate the aluminum from the discs. Because of just how mixed in it is, and then with the plastic casings for the actual consoles, they're mixed with crude oils and chemicals. Again, things that are bad for the environment. So it's generally really hard to recycle a console, which is one a good reason why people have trouble with programs. And then another thing is going into society. So because there aren't really many programs out there and people don't really have backups for how to go through and recycle them, no one really knows what to do with consoles that are broken. Again, like as it says, there are no advertisements for many take-back programs. A lot of people think it's okay to throw them away, but as we saw with the, what happens when you toss it into the garbage and how long it can sit in the environment is just not good. And another problem that it brings is that it's just garbage in a house sitting there and eventually stacking up with other things. It's quite it may not affect society too bad, but it's still worth to note the complications when it comes to broken consoles and recycling and such. And like I said on here, it's just little to no take-back programs, and it doesn't seem like many companies care to do anything worth recycling in general when it comes to consoles. So Cody and I thought of a few solutions that could basically come in, and it's in general finding programs or making programs, take back programs for consoles themselves, and having them advertise more to the public. So through YouTube and social media in general. Or being able to host events, host their own little panels and such at recycling events, so that way it brings out more solutions. And for people that go through with these programs, they get rewards for it. So, coupons, you get maybe a mini version of your console. Maybe, you get some money for it. Do the opposite of what Best Buy did. Instead of charging them, pay them. It's a pretty good reward for recycling. And then another thing to add in too is going into console or electronic repairs in general. Like Nintendo's, they don't give you an estimate on how much it costs. And one of the things to do with that is giving them an estimate on how much it would cost to get the consoles fixed if they are broken, no matter how old the console. And that, including shipping too, because a lot of places that don't have it, like Sony, for example, they cost $400 just for you to get it fixed, but that doesn't include the shipping, and that's a huge problem. It's a lot of money. No one has money like that to throw to like the side. So yeah, these are just like general solutions we could think of for how to go about recycling consoles. It's just mainly being able to repair them or find programs that can take the items within them and make use of them without having to throw them into landfills, so we can get rid of the electronically filled, landfills that are out there. But yeah, that's basically all we had for this, and that would be the end of our presentation.